Hello, welcome to Trends Global News Special Report. I'm your host, Alexis Devine, for Tuesday, September 26th. Today, I'm sure you've heard a lot the last couple of days about Trump and his NFL tweets, and we're going to talk a little bit about him and his glory for the flag and the other flags that he seems to like. And we're going to take a look at the hurricanes again that have been going through and what's been done and what hasn't been done and how people are struggling with recovery. And especially Puerto Rico, they've just been totally devastated by the hurricane that went through there. Marie was absolutely horrible, and it totally knocked down all the power on the island, and they're expecting next year they might have power back in most of those places. And we're going to look more at this dispute with North Korea because it's really ramping up. Korea claims that the U.S. has declared war and they might be shooting down American bombers. So it's pretty interesting. Anyway, check it out. Hope you like it. So I'm sure you've heard about Trump and his NFL tweets and about players taking a knee. I don't know, I think Trump's kind of missing the point here. He seems to have turned this into a disrespect for the flag when what these players are actually doing is trying to get attention to their cause, which has nothing to do with Donald Trump's flag. It has everything to do with racial inequality. Trump seems to think it's not about racism. I don't know. This question came up a lot when they at the White House, and the press secretary was having to deal with it, and she's
said on Friday night was very divisive. Does the president regret at all describing these players who take a knee for the national anthem as SOBs who should be fired?
Look, this isn't about the president being against anyone, but this is about the president and millions of Americans being for something, being for honoring our flag, honoring our national anthem, and honoring the men and women who fought to defend it.
Now, she was grilled with a bunch of different questions, and they just didn't let up, and half of the press conference was full of this stuff, and then she closed out having to answer even more questions about it, and then this is what she finally had to say.
Howard was asking, why is it that the president over the weekend is going after, or seeming to go after, African American athletes? And then this morning he's putting out a tweet praising NASCAR, which obviously is geared towards a different demographic, and the way they stand and respect and honor the flag. Is he trying to wage something of a culture war?
Not at all. The president's not talking about race. The president's talking about pride in our country. What you saw yesterday were players and fans of all races joining together as Americans to honor our service members. That's what the president's talking about. That's what his focus is on. As you guys know, the president's got an event here in a few minutes, so we're going to close there. Thanks so much.
I think it is a cultural reference. You should at least speak.
Apparently, the president thinks this is about his glorious flag, and we all know how much he loves his flag, right? And he's been seen with other flags too. He was seen with this flag. I remember when he was seen with that flag, and he totally lied to everybody and really let down the LGBTQ community. And, the guy's just a liar, plain and simple. But anyway, back to his so-called patriotism. I'm not too sure that it's really patriotism. You've got lots of players that are switching sides now. This seems to be targeted mainly at African American players, which is completely unacceptable. And other teams are just simply not coming out on the field through the anthem now. You've asked for sons of bitches to be fired, which is completely unethical. No president should ever do that. You're supposed to be a role model, not an idiot.
To say, get that son of a bitch off the field right now, out, he's fired.
You have some time to actually deal with things that are plaguing your country and doing something about all of the people that need help in Houston, Florida, and Puerto Rico. You're neglecting your duties, sir. Anyway. So yeah, the weather. the hurricanes Marie, Puerto Rico, you know, it's really, really sad that they got like devastated like that. But what's worse is that people in Houston and people in Florida and now people in Puerto Rico are all suffering, and the cleanup is like just barely beginning. Meanwhile, you know, Trump is like not really doing anything about it. He's hasn't announced anything to help the people in Puerto Rico. And is that maybe because they're not white or something? I don't know. I don't want to say he's racist, but it's certainly starting to look that way. So, the North Korea thing, it's just escalating more and more and more. Yesterday, the foreign minister, Ri Yong Ho in North Korea, said that him and his country are taking the threats made by Trump and the United States to be a declaration of war, because the President of the United States threatened to end their regime and that they would soon be no more. I don't know. And he also reiterated the thing about the nuclear tests, and because like they're taking this as the US declaring war on them, they've gone further, and Ri Yong Ho also added that they would take preemptive action to shoot down any bombers that looked like they were coming towards North Korea, to bomb them in a preemptive strike. And we all know where that's going to take us, and that's going to lead us right down that path of war. Well, that's all I really have time for today, unfortunately. Hopefully some of these things get resolved, and I think this whole NFL thing, it could very well be Trump's undoing. If he wants to keep pushing this, it's just going to blow up in his face. It already is. I don't think he's going to learn. Personally, I think he should resign, but hey, we can't have everything, can we? Anyway, I'm Alexis from Trans Global News Special Report. Have a good evening. Bye.